Panther people, what up? Spoiler alert, David Tepper doesn't care what you think about him. What's going on? You watch Panthers Sports with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Let's quickly talk about that game. Yes, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where arguably, and it kind of evolves every single week, he's a rookie, but Bryce Young, that was definitely his worst game as a professional with the Carolina Panthers. He looked completely lost. Adam Schefter was on the Pat McAfee show today, and he said that according to some sources that he spoke with, this is the most tapped-in guy in the NFL, that he said that the NFL game looks, quote-unquote, a little too big for Bryce Young right now. Now, that could be a shot at his size, but you can see that mentally he was completely flustered by whatever the Jacksonville Jaguars were throwing at him. They had shots of him on the sideline throwing his iPad. He knew there were open plays. The color commentator during the game said that every single play there was someone open. He just didn't see them. So I don't know what it is. Again, he's a rookie. It is well documented that he does not have a good supporting cast, arguably the worst supporting cast in the NFL for any rookie to try to thrive, not to mention what's happening behind the scenes, on the sidelines, in the boardrooms, in the suites. But also, is the season just too long for a guy like Bryce? Like, they're already in the college football playoff right now, right? Like, this is already a long season for Bryce, and he's playing against grown arse men. So you can imagine just mentally, physically, the guy's wearing out a little bit. I was very worried about his lower back when he was gripping that. I thought he had a spasm. He was fine. He was good to go, which is miraculous that he's doing this. I just hope he doesn't put himself in further risk. They wrap things up next week at home against the Bucs. David Tepper. He's got a problem. Let's go right back to where he started. First of all, he didn't grow up with money. He did not grow up with money like me. He did not grow up with money. So when you have money for the first time, it kind of gets to you. And we see it with players as well. When you don't grow up with money and then you suddenly have money, you're the second richest owner in the NFL. You're gonna act reckless. You're gonna do crazy things. He doesn't act like a rich guy. If you ever meet someone who comes from money, like generations of money, a royal, one of the Coca-Cola family. Do you even know who the Coca-Cola family is? The Anheuser family, the Bush family? No, we have no idea who they are. But they act a certain way. They act like they've been there before. Guys like David Tepper never had money before, and he's acting a fool. This is obviously very clear. He made his money quick. He made it recently, and he's acting wild. And I don't know if you guys ever met anybody who's a billionaire. I have not. But I've met some very successful people. Guess what? They're not nice people. They're not good people. Most of them. How do you think they got there? They're cutthroat. They're jerks. If you've ever heard somebody, like go to a really rich person, multimillionaire, and ask them just straight up, how much is a carton of milk? We have bags of milk here. How much is that? What's a good wage? I always ask this. I'm a reporter professionally. Government people always say, we got good paying jobs. What's a good paying job to you? Like Canadians, $60,000 a year, $80,000 a year. That won't get you much in this country, unfortunately. So they are completely out of touch, especially when you're a multi-billionaire. You're the second richest owner in the NFL. You look at all these people in the stands giving you money. They're just ATMs. They're not people. And so, was it surprising that David Tepper on camera looks to show that he threw a drink at a Jaguars fan who, that's not a cheap ticket. It's not an expensive ticket, but it's way up there. And in terms of the seating arrangement. So, he's not throwing it on a corporate level guy. He's throwing it to the everyday man. And that, in a way, encapsulates how he views people. And does it make me sick that I'm wearing a Bryce Young jersey right now? No. Yeah, a little bit. Not because it's Bryce, but because I contributed to the David Tepper Wealth Fund. I did that. And it makes me feel gross because he is a poor representation of the team. No doubt he's a poor representation of the team. It just goes to show you how he views other people. He couldn't get into his... I think people would rather have seen David Tepper get in the guy's face, mano-a-mano, nose to nose, and smack talk that guy and just face the facts, face the music that you have a losing record as the owner. So we don't know what he was saying. If you're saying stuff about his family, get in there. But what do? You throw a drink and you walk away? I think it makes you understand how he views other people. He doesn't even want to get close. We're the riffraff. We're nobodies. Absolutely. Do you think he knows his multimedia team of the Panthers? No, he definitely does not. And it just goes to show how he views the everyday person. Now, how he views football people, the people he pays millions of dollars to, I don't know. We'll see about that. There's been nothing really. We understand that the NFL is looking into it. There could be. We're now seeing some reports, from Jonathan Jones of CBS, their national beat reporter, saying that he could be facing, a fine. We heard before that I think it was the Titans head coach or owner flipped off some Bills fans. He got, fined $250,000. So Tepper could be maybe facing a $500,000 fine. Maybe told you can't go to any more games for the next 5 games, including this year and next year. Okay, he owns a team. Doesn't what does it matter? What does it matter? He's still the checks are still going to clear. So he's going to get fined maybe $1 million. Whoa, $1 million. He is paying Matt Rule. He's paying Frank Reich for not coaching. He does. What's $1 million? It's nothing. It's nothing. And then I'm seeing reports now, and I'm seeing Pat McAfee show. I respect Pat McAfee so much for what he's done in the industry. He asked Adam Schefter, again, very plugged in guy, who's going to want to coach for this guy? Who's going to want to coach for this maniac of an owner? Well, guess what? Just look at his former owner in Jim Irsay with the Indianapolis Colts. Sure, they have some pedigree. They've won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. But he's a wild man. He's crazy. He's actually certifiable. And he's on Twitter, X. He's on it. We don't really see Tepper do much on social media. But Jim says wild stuff. Wild stuff on social media. Remember he hired Jeff Saturday off the ESPN set? He's never coached anything higher than high school. Coached him off the set. Brought him off the set. He's a head coach of an NFL football team. How did that go? And then he got Shane Steichen, and then they're the talk of the town, doing great with Jonathan, with Gardner Minshew. Everyone loves the Colts. No one cares about how wild Jim Irsay is and how he's certifiable. Nobody talks about that. He's not the Texans. The Texans, they were the most toxic team in the NFL. Nobody wanted to deal with the Texans. Deshaun Watson not showing up. He didn't want to be there anymore. And then they were under investigation for MassageGate and all that stuff, and how they were complicit. All these allegations, how they were just completely gross. Guess what? Talk of the town. Everyone loves the Texans. CJ Stroud's awesome. Rookie of the year. He's got the best situation. Texans. Miami Dolphins. Stephen Ross. Literally, colluding, having his head coach show up on a yacht, and then, what's going on? Tom Brady's on the yacht. He's telling him, you got to bring this guy in. He says, no, you're gone. They're currently being sued right now by the coaches that they let go, Brian Flores and company. Just super sketchy with Stephen Ross. And guess what? Now, the Dolphins are seen as frauds right now, but they got Mike McDaniel. Oh, he's super cool, super hip. Oh, everyone loves him. Oh, look at the sound bites. Everything's great. Dolphins are cool. Oh, Tua's back. Tyreek Hill's, yeah, he's a cheetah. He's the best, No one cares. No one cares because the check's clear. Winning solves everything. The Baltimore Ravens, they commemorated, celebrated Ray Rice. Talk about footage. We see footage of David Tepper supposedly throwing a drink on a fan. Do I need to remind people what was in that video of Ray Rice? No. And he's celebrated. He is celebrated on the field to paying fans, men and women, more importantly. And now what? Oh, Super Bowl favorites. Oh, Lamar Jackson's the best. Oh, the Baltimore Ravens are the dream team. Oh, they're what we think the Bills are supposed to be. That's the ownership. That's the team. But winning solves everything. So no one says anything. Who else? Who else is a team that we could talk about where everyone's just absolutely wild? Who's a team that no one talks about because they're fine? Seahawks? Seahawks, they're pretty, legit. No one hears anything about that. Don't hear, friggin' Robert Kraft. Talk about Deshaun Watson's situation. What was Robert Kraft alleged to have done? No one cares. 6 Super Bowls, nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. No one talks about the Maras, the owners of the Giants. They keep their noses clean. Steelers, keep their noses clean. Bengals, all we know about them is that they're cheap. Browns, they literally had to bring the team back. Their former owner took the team away from the city. And everyone loves the Ravens. Nobody hates the Ravens. They were the Browns. You guys remember that? They were the Browns. But everyone loves them. Everything's great. 49ers had a toxic owner. So everyone has got an issue. Everyone's got issues. If David Tepper said, something absolutely horrible, obviously it is demeaning and embarrassing to have a drink thrown on you, especially by a billionaire. It's also a good story in the bar. Just saying. Of all the things that can happen to a fan from an owner, that's the one that you can say at a bar and it's okay. But, we have to remind people why he bought the team, how he was able to buy the Carolina Panthers, and what Jerry Richardson did, what he built culture-wise behind the scenes, people who work for him. He didn't use anything He didn't use any slurs that we know of. That we know of. If he did, that's a different story. I don't think he's going to be forced to sell. It's not like an LA Clippers situation. He didn't maim anybody. I'm not defending him, but I'm saying like everyone who's mad at him because we're losing and we're a horrible team right now and a horrible team to watch. We need to be mad about something. We want answers now. But nothing's going to happen. Unfortunately, nothing's going to happen. And if he somehow gets the message and has a public apology on TV and says these words, I'm going to step back from football operations. I'm not going to attend games. I'm going to hire the right people. I'm going to fire Scott Fitterer. I'm going to hire a new GM. I'm going to hire a new coach. If it's Jim Harbaugh or whoever, someone who could just, you got project managers everywhere. Like he's a rich dude, super rich guy. He's got someone managing his funds. Have someone manage your football team. You don't need to manage a football team anymore, So he's going to, like, if he makes the right hires and we get a T. Higgins and then we get a Xavier Worthy or we get a, Mushi Muhammad, this junior, later in the rounds, or, we suddenly win 5 games next year. No one's going to talk about David Tepper. Nobody. Because the pressure's not going to be on him. We're all just going to be distracted by all the winning and fun stuff. And the process blew. Oh, everything's great. So I understand that outrage because it's just like the cherry on top of an embarrassing season led by him. And it's been embarrassing since he bought the team. But if there is a winning culture, something that's built next year and the year after that, we see progress in Bryce Young. We're not always like, what are we going to do? What are we going to get this afternoon? People are going to forget him. And I just think the outrage is quite interesting. I think if the Panthers were 9-10 game winners this season, I don't think anybody would care. I think people think it's kind of funny. We got the second richest owner league. Oh, look at us. But because we're crappy and he's doing stuff like that, it just puts salt to the wound. So anyways, that's my rant about David Tepper. Pat McAfee asked Adam Schefter, who's going to want to coach for this maniac? That's what I was kind of starting off. I went on the rant. Anyone's going to do it if you get paid. If you get paid, and they mentioned how D'Amico Ryans, and this is something that Adam Schefter said in a previous episode, D'Amico Ryans, because he knew the Texans were toxic. They're his hometown team, but he knew that they were toxic, and they had issues with coaches. They too were firing coaches left, right, and center before D'Amico Ryans. So he said, I need $8 million guaranteed for 6 years. He locked it in. And so whoever comes in, they just got to get the Matt Rule deal. It's going to be more than $8 million. So 10 years for the next 6 years. So $60 million, nothing. Chump change to David Tepper because they know they're desperate. Heck, bump it up to $15 million. That's what he was quoting for Jim Harbaugh. That could be what he's asking for from whatever team. Could be the Panthers. If it's the Panthers, he knows how desperate they are. It could be $20 million. And so it's all worth it. John Gruden got a $100 million contract. So as long as the check clears, people are going to go. And they got to like Bryce Young. If they don't like Bryce Young, don't come. And if you don't like Bryce Young and you got a plan that doesn't include trading for a guy like Derek Carr, go for it. I don't like what beggars can't be choosers right now. It is an awful situation right now. Preferably, I'd like somebody who has have some appreciation and admiration for Bryce Young and thinks that, hey, you know what? You're in a crap situation. I'm going to bring my own GM here. Hopefully they're from a winning program like a Detroit who built it seemingly the right way. Detroit, San Francisco, Baltimore. Again, winning solves everything. Not talking about the ownership right now. Talk about the guys who build the teams. Then I need that person. I don't care if you have offensive, defensive background. If you care about Bryce Young right now, because he's on a rookie deal, and you want to surround him with the talent, get your T. Higgins, get your wide receivers, build up that O-line in the draft, build up the defense, whatever you got to do, extend Brian Burns, extend Derek Brown, or trade one for picks, maybe not Brown. Go for it. That's all I care about. Again, winning solves everything. All these teams, it's all a cycle, unless you're the Patriots, who are kind of going a downward cycle. Unless you're the Patriots or the Steelers, or heck, even the San Francisco 49ers, who really, they were a joke too before they brought Kyle Shanahan and Buddy and John Lynch. And the Kansas City Chiefs, everyone goes through cycles. Even the Chiefs are going down a little bit, but we don't hear anything about their executives. But every team goes through this. And it's down. It is the lowest it's ever going to be. Will it shoot up next year? Maybe not right away. But what is it in Batman? The night is darkest before the dawn. Yeah, it's really bad. But this is why we have this show. We have this show for therapy, the comment section. Let me know your thoughts below. Does David Tepper make you not want to be a Carolina Panthers fan? Straight up. No cap. I think I'm using that right. Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed? Or is it so bad it's kind of funny? Kind of like how the Browns are so embarrassing it's kind of cute and kind of funny. Are the Panthers there? Is that what we are? We're so bad we're cute and it's funny? Like you threw a drink at someone, yes, annoying. But on the things that he could have done, the things that have been done, Jerry Jones, I forgot Jerry Jones. The guy has a radio show, and the other things. Like, it's embarrassing because we're bad. But if we were good, it's not that bad. But let me know what you guys think. Talk to you after this coming up week. And hopefully some draft talk coming up. See you guys soon.